Hey everybody, this is Kathy and I am here to talk to you today a little about your emotions and stress and how that affects your overall wellness and also when we're talking about weight management, what that does to your weight management. So as we look here at all of these emotions, I'm sure that as you look over these words that you can find yourself in several of these words and maybe a lot of them several times during the day. We all have emotions and we all deal with stress. But what I want to talk about in this video is to let you know what the effects are of stress in the body and how important it is for you to have stress management so that you can achieve your wellness goals and you can achieve your overall weight goals as well. So when we're talking about essential oils and we're talking about the human body, we just your nose is amazing. So when you breathe in an aromatic substance, which all essential oils are volatile aromatic substances that come from plants, that aromatic substance goes in through this nasal cavity right here, and it is super close to what's called your olfactory bulb, which is right here. Now, in the brain, we have a God-given mechanism that is called the blood-brain barrier. And what that does is it keeps large molecules from entering the brain, because if you had all these large molecules going into your brain, it would gum your brain up too much and it wouldn't be able to work. However, essential oils have molecules that are super small and that can cross that blood-brain barrier and have effects in the brain, which can affect our emotions, which can affect our thoughts and overall actions, but as you will see in the next couple of slides, can also affect your overall health. Now, what these aromatic substances do is they go in and they stimulate this olfactory bulb, which then stimulates your limbic system, and the limbic system is the seat of your emotions, it's the seat of your feelings. And what that does is it stimulates the release of these neurochemicals, or what we call molecules of emotion. So literally, this is where kind of nothing becomes something in your body and creates actions in our lives. So these substances can be relaxing, they can be uplifting, they can be invigorating, they can help us to focus and to calm, but they can also cause anger and stress and frustration and those things in our lives that we don't want to have. So this is called the HPA Axis, and I just want you to see this. I want you to know that this is like a college course in about the next 3 minutes between these next two slides. So this is what happens when stress and toxic thoughts and negative emotions come into our life, and they invade our space. So what happens is there is a real release of chemicals that happens in your brain. So your hypothalamus is right in the middle of your brain here. And when we have something stressful happen in our lives, or a negative thought or emotion or a negative person in our lives, it will stimulate the hypothalamus to create a neurochemical called CRH, or corticotropin releasing hormone. And this is the neuropeptide of your negative emotions. What that does is it drips down to your pituitary gland, which is also in the middle of the brain right here. And that pituitary gland, it then is stimulated to release something called ACTH, or adrenocorticotropin hormone. This is the neuropeptide of fear, which I think is very, very interesting. So when we have fear or worry or concerns, it is, in some instances is very good, and I'll talk about that in a second, but in others, it can be very damaging to the body. So this ACTH then drips down to your adrenal glands, which sit on top of the kidneys. And it releases stress hormones that you've probably heard of called cortisol and adrenaline. And I'll tell you what, when you need to get out of the way of a fast-moving car, you're going to want to have adrenaline and cortisol in your body, because what it does is it helps the body to be able to kick into action really quick. So your muscles fire really quick. Your senses, your eyes, your hearing, your everything is super stimulated. And, if you run into a bear when you're walking out in the woods, you also want to have that stress hormone come in, because you want to get out of the way of danger. This is a God-given mechanism to keep us safe. However, what happens is when we perceive that we are not safe, and when we have stress all the time in our body, this HPA axis, this stress cycle is happening all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. So what happens is adrenaline and cortisol is being pumped out by the adrenal glands constantly. You've probably heard of adrenal fatigue, and this is one of those reasons. So on the next slide here, I just want to talk about what this looks like in the body now. So you see this stressed out woman. And what this does when we are under these constant attacks, this constant negativity, this constant stress all the time, this go, 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 go attitude that we always have to have, it really wreaks havoc in the body, on the cardiovascular system, the nervous system, immune system, digestive system. Immune system is going to take the biggest hit, because you can see on that list are a lot of chronic conditions that happen in the body that you may not have even known are associated with your immune system. Like diabetes, cancer, asthma, allergies. I mean, who knew that? I'm going to have you just probably stop the video and just take a look at some of these and see how many of these might come up for you when you know that you're in a stressed state. For example, fatigue, pain in your body, brain fog, diarrhea, constipation, cramping. And I'll tell you, one of these that's not on the list is weight gain. And the reason because of that is cortisol. When cortisol is released into the body, it's that thing that gets your glucose out of the cells and into the system fast, so it can get to the places that it needs to get to, so your muscles can fire and your system can work correctly when you need to get out of the way of harm. But what that does is it also increases your insulin levels. And when this glucose and insulin is out of balance, what that does is it actually forms visceral fat around your organs and also around the middle part of the body. So if you have a pear-shaped body, or if you have, a belly that you just can't seem to get rid of that fat, usually it's because of an increase in cortisol, which, by the way, is completely in our, it's within our capacity to be able to deal with stress in different ways, to release stress in different ways, and to be able to really get out of some stressful circumstances that we are in simply because of fear, okay? So what I am saying is that just because your dad had cardiovascular disease does not mean that you're going to have it, okay? We can turn back time. We can turn back aging. Just because somebody in your family had arthritis does not mean that you are going to have that. Because of the way that we eat, the supplements that we take, the way that we deal with stress, whether that's through prayer, through meditation, through quieting your life, to really know that there is something greater than us in this world, okay? There are so many things that we can do to deal with stress, and in the next post, I'm going to talk about that as well, okay? So look at this list and see if you see yourself on it. Here's the big deal, you guys. When you think of negative, toxic thoughts, you're going to release negative, toxic chemicals into your body. And this is going to cause, over time, chronic diseases in the body to break down at a faster rate. But when we are a positive person, when we are in a positive environment, when we create those positive environments in our life, we are going to release positive, life-giving chemicals into the body, which literally can help to turn back disease, cause vitality and energy in the body, and have us to have that life of abundance that I believe that God wants us all to have. So simply by your thought processes and by that stress cycle that I just talked about, your essential oils can be so valuable when you simply breathe them in, and they break that blood-brain barrier and cause us to have different thoughts and ideas about the negative places that we're in, the stressors that we're around, maybe the negative people that we are around. So don't forget to use your emotional oils. And whoever thought that using emotional oils would be a way that can help you release that cortisol and be able to lose weight at the same time. So your body is amazing. God created us to be amazing. It's up to us to be able to agree with Him that we do not have to have these kind of stressors that cause us to have chronic diseases in our lives. Guys, it has been a joy to be with you. I hope that you learned something from this video, and I can't wait to hear your comments. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.